Today I want to talk to you guys about customer service or the lack thereof. Because about a week ago, I had a customer service story in one of my videos and it seemed like a topic a lot of people can really relate to, and I haven't really done a full-blown video about this. So I'm going to dive deeper into the study I referenced in that video to give you guys an idea of just how bad the state of affairs is right now with customer service. Because the simple act of buying something or returning something or calling customer service or even interacting with a store employee these days has become an absolute nightmare. And for the first time ever, after 22 years of tracking customer service complaints and consumer behavior, researchers say that this is no longer a bad service problem. They say we are now dealing with rage, uncivil behavior, and crisis-driven meltdowns. And this is all according to the 2025 National Customer Rage Survey. So basically how this survey came about was back in 1976, researchers tried to redo a White House study about customer complaints. And back then, the idea of tracking hostile customers felt absolutely ridiculous, probably because there was hardly such a thing. And that silly idea has now become a full-blown diagnostic tool because today's customer service is so dysfunctional. I mean, look at what's happened over the past couple of years, guys. You've literally seen a CEO get murdered, okay, over healthcare disputes. We've seen airline passengers fist fighting over seats reclining. We've seen chatbots being trained to handle death threats, okay? So, needless to say, customer service and the problems with it have escalated to brand new heights recently. And researchers now categorize consumer anger into 4 distinct types. One is customer rage, which is triggered by bad products, bad service, and broken promises. That's probably the one I'm affected by the most, it seems like. And I'm going to give you guys my own recent bad customer service experience that I just had today, actually, before I filmed this video. The second one is customer uncivility, which is triggered when companies take political, ethical, or cultural stances customers disagree with. Well, the first place that comes to mind when I think about that is Target and Bud Light. The third one is crisis-driven incidents. This is explosive behavior caused by mental health, emotional trauma, or psychological triggers. And I just can't help but laugh a little bit, guys. I know this is like serious stuff and people get extremely pissed off to the point where they're having a meltdown, but this kind of stuff actually is a little bit funny to me, so you have to excuse my sense of humor. And then the fourth one is economic class warfare. You have shoplifting, vandalism, and retaliation, which is rooted in inequality and deprivation, and corporations are responding with locked shelves, surveillance, and security crackdowns. So there's that aspect of it as well. So there are a lot of problems that are happening with customer service right now. Well, let's talk about the numbers here for a minute. 77% of Americans in 2025 experienced a product or service problem this year. That's double the rate that we saw back in 1976, guys. So things have completely collapsed over the past 50 years when it comes to customer satisfaction with a company's product or service. And I can completely relate to that, and I'm sure many of you can as well. 64% of customers report feeling rage, not frustration, not irritation, but rage. The amount of customers who raise their voice to customer service agents is at an all-time high at 50% of people, and I'm guilty of that as well. I try not to. You try to be nice in the beginning, but once things take a turn for the worse and things start going the wrong way, then it gets very easy to get overheated and kind of take it out on the person on the other line, guys. I'm guilty. I've done it before. Not proud of it, but it's happened. 32% say that they've experienced emotional stress from trying to resolve a simple problem. That just reminds me of my wife last night, guys. Like, this is not the customer service story I'm going to tell you, but just a quick little side tangent here is that over the summer, I made a purchase from Target and something went wrong and they gave us a $10 gift card, that they sent me in an email as a "we're sorry" sort of thing, and you can use this for your next purchase. Okay, so we went to go purchase something last night using that $10 gift card. It didn't work. Long story short, my wife spent 26 minutes on the phone with customer service just to be able to use that $10 gift card. 43% of digital complaints get zero response, and I see a lot of websites lately and stores that only offer customer service via a chatbot or sending the company an email. There's no way to contact them by phone, which is directly related to my own disaster that I will talk about later on in this video. Almost half of all complaints on social media just disappear, and revenge behavior is now up 3x since 2020. And 7% of people openly admit to seeking revenge on companies because of the breakdown in trust. I mean, this is kind of crazy stuff, guys. And here's an interesting part of this Rage study is that the survey found that upper class customers are twice as satisfied with complaint outcomes compared to middle and lower class customers, which I find kind of interesting because I have not found any relationship between how much money you're spending and the level of customer service, guys. And once again, that will play into my own personal story later on, which I just can't wait to tell you, but I want to get through all of the data first. But they say that the wealthy get better resolutions, better service, and better treatment. Not sure about that one, but it raises some questions. Are richer customers treated as more valuable? Are poor customers dismissed more easily? There is some evidence that customer service is even divided by your wealth class now. Now, 2025 is the first year where digital complaints have surpassed phone complaints, and I'm guessing that's probably because a lot of places don't even allow you to call them anymore. There is literally no phone number to contact customer service. I'm sure that plays a big role, but it's a massive problem because 43% of these digital complaints get no response at all. Talk about lack of customer service, guys. It's literally non-existent half of the time when it's all digital. And then when it comes to uncivility due to political or belief type things, in 2025 alone, you had Amazon, Target, Walmart, and Tesla all facing coordinated boycotts by unhappy customers. 15% of Americans admit to behaving uncivilly toward a business over political issues. 55% say that uncivility is rising. 28% blame moral decay. And 20% think threats, insults, and profanity and mocking employees are acceptable. I don't think so, guys. I completely disagree with that. It's one thing to get pissed off at customer service and raise your voice and yell a little bit, but to take it to that level is not only immature, but I think it's the wrong thing to do. Regardless of what your political beliefs are or your stance on a company, I don't think that people should be taking it to that extent. That's my own personal beliefs. You can do whatever you want, but I just think that we're better than that, or we should be better than that. But things have gotten so crazy, like for example, where the airline passenger opened an emergency exit on mid-flight, or customers who lash out violently due to stress or emotional instability. These incidents are on the rise. And the problem is, the people who are, being attacked, like these people who work at a store, for example, are not really to blame for this. Now, yeah, if they are the ones who are directly ignoring you and not helping you with your problem, then sure, they're directly to blame. But in many cases, people are taking things out on store employees for things that are completely not their fault. And then we've all seen the stores, at least either in pictures or in real life, of where half the store is locked up now, where half this place is locked up behind plexiglass and you have to ring a button. I experienced that when I was in California. I don't see that here in Florida, not even in Miami. But in California, at the Target in Sausalito, guys, you have a bunch of things over there that are locked up like that, and you have to press a button to have the employee come over there and unlock the plexiglass and get you the item that you need. It's kind of crazy. It was pretty quick. I will say that. It's not like you had to wait a long time. They were there within like 30 seconds and opened it, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I mean, this is just crazy that it's come to that. And that's bad customer service too, right? The fact that everybody has to be punished because other people can't be trusted. But you got to understand from the store's perspective, if the state of California isn't going to prosecute people who shoplift small value amounts of merchandise, then they got to do something, right? And we have some data on that as well, because shoplifting is up 93% since 2019. Think about that. And what was 2019, guys? Oh, the last year when things were normal before we had the pandemic. Everybody has become poorer since then and has been forced into stealing more because they have less money and just can't buy things. Other people do it just to take advantage of the system, like in the state of California. So this has caused stores to increase their security budgets by 45%, especially in high theft areas. And this is just a cycle that seems like it's not going to be fixed anytime soon, because the poorer people get and the more inflation becomes a problem, the more people are forced to steal because they can't afford things, and customers get angrier. At the same time, prices rise because of it, then theft rises even more, security rises even more, and the whole system just continues to break down. And so the original study going back to 1976 warned that bad complaint handling, bad customer service essentially, could hurt profits. And then fast forward to today, the estimated revenue that's at risk because of poor customer service is nearly $600 billion, because companies cannot or will not deal with customer problems effectively. I'm getting a little bit rained on out here. Hopefully I'll at least be able to make it back to my car before it starts pouring. And if I do, I'll finish the video inside the car. So where do we go from here? Well, the researchers say the solution is to rethink the entire concept of customer service. And our businesses prepared to face a future where every transaction can spark a confrontation. So obviously, these companies are going to be forced to do better if they want to continue making sales, if they don't want to lose that $600 billion. But one thing I keep hammering in all my recent videos, guys, remember, it is up to you, the consumer, to vote with your wallet. You have to decide which companies you're going to buy from and which ones you're not, based on how well you are treated by them. And if you're consistently getting bad products or bad service or both from any sort of service-based or product-based business, you need to stop buying from them and write a bad review so everybody else knows about it. That's the first step in making sure all these companies either change their ways or completely go out of business. Now let me tell you guys about my most recent customer service nightmare. I tried to buy a new pair of dress shoes, something I've asked you guys recommendations for a bunch of times and you guys have given it to me. I finally settled on a pair from this company called Paul Evans. And the reason I decided on this pair of shoes, because they look pretty slick, right? Take a look at the picture. And they were on sale during Black Friday. So I decided to pull the trigger, guys. The sale price of these shoes was $324, right? Then I had to pay tax, I had to pay shipping, which is another $32 that they charged me, and I paid for return protection, which is about another $8 to ensure that I could return the pair of shoes in case they didn't fit, because there was no way for me to go try them on in a local store. Nobody around here has them. So my total order cost for these shoes was $389 on sale. But they're made in Naples, Italy, very fine pair of shoes, looking pretty slick. I would be able to wear those shoes for the next 20 or 30 years most likely and just maintain them. Well, the shoes were like a half a size too big, even though I went through their sizing guide to a T and bought what I thought would be the right pair of shoes. And so I had to contact customer service and say, listen, the shoes didn't fit and I need to send them back because they're a half a size too big. So I just want to exchange them for a half a size smaller. That's it. I didn't really want a return or a refund. I just wanted to exchange for a smaller size. Okay. So they write back to me and say, we're sorry. Okay, we're going to issue you a gift card for the full value that you paid for the shoes plus the shipping costs, so that way you can repurchase the size that you need, which is already kind of a hassle, right? I have to rebuy something with a gift card they're going to give me instead of them just sending me out a new pair that's the correct size. So already that kind of sucks. And on top of that, the only way to contact this customer service was through an online portal from their website and do an email chat back and forth. No phone number, just like we talked about before. So this is what their answer was. They say that, thank you for your patience. We sincerely apologize for the delay. We've been handling a high volume of messages. Your original order total was $324.35, which is not true because I had to pay more than that, plus shipping and all that stuff. But they say the current price you're seeing is the regular price without any sale applied, and the system also added $32 for shipping for you. We have already refunded the new shipping charge for you. Your store credit reflects the full value of your original order. Since the sale price is no longer active, the new total at checkout reflects the current standard pricing. So these people want me to go ahead and just buy the pair of shoes. You know what, guys? I'm gonna have to pause this story real quick and run back to the car, and I'll finish in there. See you in a minute. Well, where was I? Oh yeah, the part where I was talking about the horrible customer service, and I promise I'll keep the rest of this part brief because I don't know what it is, but I hate when people make videos in their car, but literally it's raining pretty good outside here. I'll tell you the rest of this story and then I'll finish the rest from my home office. But the customer service for this shoe company, Paul Evans, is absolutely horrible, guys. And I would say if you're spending about $400 on a pair of shoes, that would be considered a wealthy customer service experience or a wealthy purchase, kind of like we talked about a little bit earlier in the video. And it's not like I make purchases like that all the time. In fact, I've only bought one nice pair of Italian leather dress shoes my entire life. And I've been looking for a pair I really like for the past couple of years. That's not black, a nice brown pair like this one. Finally decided to pull the trigger, only to experience this sort of horrible customer service. So in the end, I wrote them back and I said, you know what, just refund me my money. I am not going to be purchasing your shoes at full price. I bought these on sale. All I wanted was a simple exchange. You guys have made this a nightmare for me. So please just give me my money back or I'll be forced to file a dispute with my credit card company, which I would be fully in the right to do, because I even purchased their return protection just in case something like this were to happen. So they finally agreed to give me a refund, but only after the shoes are back at their facility so they can fully inspect them. So it's like, okay, whatever. As long as I get my money back, I don't care. But the point is, like, even when buying high-level things like this, a really nice pair of dress shoes made in Naples, Italy, by hand, this is the level of customer service you're getting. No phone number, a delayed response. I wrote them an email a couple of days ago asking for a refund, and I was basically ghosted until today. And they said, oh, we're sorry, we had a high level of, customer service complaints to get through. Well, I wonder why. Maybe if you guys would have a phone number to call and people could talk to you, or maybe you could do exchanges of products at your own company and not have to make people jump through hoops or try not to make people purchase an item at full price that they bought on sale in good faith. Maybe if you would just solve a few of those problems, things would get better. It's like these places are just dumbfounded that, people are having trouble when they create all of these problems on their own. So needless to say, once I get my refund, unfortunately, I'm not going to be buying another pair of shoes through them, which is unfortunate because I really did like the shoes, but I'm not going to be spending almost $500 on a pair of shoes. I found another company that looks like they sell basically the same shoes, still made in Italy, for a lot less money. So I'm going to give them a try instead and cross my fingers and hope for the best. But I stand by what I say. I'm not going to be giving them my business. I will never buy another pair of shoes from Paul Evans again. So hopefully somebody out there from Paul Evans hears this and realizes they lost a customer from me and maybe a lot of other people that watch this channel, because I don't recommend them. Well, what a day. Trying to dodge all this rain, guys, but I am dedicated to finishing this video for you. Anyways, speaking of bad customer service, last week, we talked about how the dollar stores are crushing it right now because a lot of people are broke. A lot of people are trying to stretch their dollar as far as possible. And in fact, the dollar stores are picking up higher income customers. Their sales have been up quite a bit, and their stock prices reflect it. However, the dollar store industry is known for overcharging their poor customers while simultaneously promising low prices. So speaking of bad customer service is literally built into the business model of the dollar store. Here's a perfect example. At a Family Dollar in North Carolina, 69 out of 300 items rang up above their shelf price. And this is the store's fourth consecutive failure in this department, okay? So the fines for overcharging customers in North Carolina are capped at $5,000 per inspection. So these dollar stores kind of treat the fines as the cost of doing business. You know, I've mentioned this in a couple videos before, where basically, you know, it makes more sense to pay the fine than it does to comply with the laws and regulations because it's just cheaper that way. But Dollar General has had over 4,300 failed price accuracy inspections since January of 2022 in 23 states. And Family Dollar has had over 2,100 failed inspections in 20 different states. And now some stores even have extreme error rates up to 76%. One Family Dollar store in Provo, Utah failed 28 inspections in a row. And why there's not a heftier penalty like closing down the business altogether if things like this continue to happen, I don't know. They just get a small slap on the wrist fine, and that's about it. And even after big settlements, we're talking multi-million-dollar settlements in some states like Arizona, Colorado, and New Jersey, even after those big settlements, the stores continue failing these inspections. And it gets even worse because almost half of the states in this country don't do inspections at all. So there's literally no data on whether or not those stores in half of the states are overcharging people or not. But you can rest assured they are if the sample is showing that there's up to a 76% error rate in the stores they actually are testing. Imagine how it is in the ones they're not testing. You think they don't know that there's no testing laws in those states? Of course they know, and they can take full advantage of that. So obviously it's up to you, the customer, to check prices yourself. This is not just a problem at the dollar store. I've had this happen at all different kinds of stores, even restaurants as well. Now, sometimes it's just because the stores are understaffed. Like the dollar stores are typically run with just 1 or 2 staff members on duty at any given moment, and it all falls on them to stock, clean everything up, ring you up, watch for theft, and change the shelf tags, which is kind of unrealistic for 1 or 2 people to handle in one shift. Which goes back to customer service, right? These companies are operating at the lowest possible standard to try to keep people coming back in. And just so there's one person there, so it's just enough to make sure people continue coming in, is apparently all they need. But that is far from customer service. And these workers are responsible for literally changing thousands of price tags per week, and the registers automatically have the correct information in there, but the store shelves might not. And even workers at these dollar stores now claim that they have sale tags where there's supposed to be a markdown in price is actually the original price, creating fake discounts. So one example is a coffee labeled on sale down to $6.50 from $7.95, but peeling back the sticker shows that the original was already $6.50, so it's a fake sale. They're artificially making you feel like you get a deal, but that's the real price anyways. That's the normal price. And of course, the dollar stores decline to directly address these specific allegations. They don't want to come out and say that this is an active practice that they do to drive sales higher, but of course you know it's on purpose. But the reason why this hits low-income people the hardest is because dollar stores are typically the only nearby retail chain in a lot of food desert areas, and a lot of poor people shop at those stores because it's the only one around. And since you might not be able to go to another store that's much further away, you're kind of forced to pay the price that they're charging you, whether it's the fair price or not. And if you didn't diligently check every single item at checkout, well, then you're getting ripped off. And that's why it's always up to you, guys. It's up to you with everything. When purchasing a house, when making any sort of investment, even just shopping at the dollar store, it is up to you to make sure that you are not getting ripped off, that you are paying the correct price, that you know what you're getting yourself into. And unfortunately, it's just another one of those things that slips through the cracks, and a lot of people lose money because of it. And a lot of times, even when customers catch the mistakes, you know, a lot of people are reporting managers refusing to honor the shelf prices of these items or issue refunds. Dollar General forces people to use mandatory arbitration just to be able to solve one of these pricing discrepancies, even over the smallest petty charges. And practically no one's ever going to file individual arbitration over a few dollars. So people just eat the loss, and meanwhile, these dollar stores continue to get away with murder. And every time they overcharge somebody $1, $1.50, $3, imagine how many extra millions that adds up to just in a single day nationwide for all these stores. And ex-employees of dollar stores are even claiming that vice presidents, regional directors, and store managers are all well aware of these bad practices. So once again, going back to what we talked about earlier, if you're tired of these companies getting away with murder, stop shopping at the dollar store. I mean, look, if it's your only option around, like I said, and you know, the other stores are all another 30 or 40 minutes away, then you kind of don't have a choice in some cases. But I would say the vast majority of people who live close to one of these stores can choose to shop somewhere else. Somewhere else they're treated better, somewhere else where the pricing discrepancies aren't so ridiculous. And that's up to you to decide which store that is or which one you like the best. But the point is, guys, you have to vote with your wallet. You cannot let these companies continue getting away with murder like this, because as long as people continue shopping there, as long as people continue eating those costs of being overcharged, you can be rest assured they are going to be incentivized to continue doing that to you because you are allowing it to happen. But the moment that everybody stops going to these stores and they lose all of their business, well, clearly they're going to be forced to rethink their strategies, and a lot of those stores are going to get shut down and go out of business. I mean, you have all the power as the consumer to change all of this stuff. So it's really up to us to make sure that all of these places that suck disappear. I do my part, but I'm just one guy. I'm just like practicing what I preach to you guys, but I'm hoping that a lot of other people will do the same, just like I'm going to do with this shoe company. There's plenty of other places that sell fine Italian leather shoes handmade in Italy, and I will give them my business and try somebody else rather than do a repeat buy from Paul Evans and hope for the best this time around. I don't think so. So feel free to put all of your customer service complaints down in the comments below, and let us all know some of the things that you guys have been going through. I'm curious to see some of the problems people have been having. And also, if you know of any companies that offer good customer service, feel free to put that down there as well. There might be some discrepancies. I know one thing I shared the last time I talked about this was Discover Bank and how great the customer service they had. I saw a couple of comments in that video talking about how your local credit union also had fantastic customer service compared to banks. So just some different things to think about as we all have to continue functioning in this world and continue purchasing things. Let's be more mindful of it, and let's try to collectively punish all of these companies that don't deserve our money. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.